Welcome to Marquee Backstage. I'm your host, Julie Milam. We have the best company coming up for your ultimate get-together. Think sass, attitude, intensity, and an abundance of talent. This Texas native plays by no rules but her own. We hope you're ready for her get-down grooves. We promise it will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This is B. Taylor.
Just a little dose will do. Not enough fussing, too much you. I take my sugar by the spoon. Oh, your loving is so sweet, but it ain't worth the time I need. I can't take much more of your mouth. Zip it for I zip it for you. No, I'm not gonna let you back in my house. Your days of opportunity are through. Yeah, I tried to tell you, yes I did, but you just wouldn't listen, playing cute and talking out your head. I done had it up to here. Do I make myself clear? Now get gone and stay away from here.
B. Taylor, I cannot believe that you took some time out of your busy schedule to sit down in a quiet room with me to kind of break it all down. Tell us how B. Taylor came to be.
I guess it started as a young person, and growing up in a small town in East Texas, and just really being around animals and fields and being around just nature, and I think that in that beginning with Kitty Wells and Hank Sr. and kind of people like that were just kind of what was around, but also it was real music, it felt real. And even when I was little, I felt that. And so
Who played that kind of music for you to begin with? Did your parents listen to it? Did your grandparents listen to it?
yeah, mom and dad did, grandparents did as well. So it was kind of all around, but it was definitely in the area and in the water,
Yes, it's a familiar sound. It's a comforting sound.
Yeah.
Did anyone
absolutely.
else in your family perform music?
My mother, she did pick up guitar, and she actually borrowed the preacher's wife's guitar, and so she borrowed that just to have something to do. And I was really fascinated by her doing that, and I just asked her one day, I was like, will you show me some things? And she was like, yeah. And so after that, I just took the guitar and got in a bedroom and stayed in there and just practiced and made it until it sounded somewhat decent, kind of deal.
Was your style similar to what you had listened to?
Probably then. Yeah, I would absolutely say then. But that's what I love about having that style of music at the forefront of like my roots, because I feel like it allowed me to grow upward toward a different side of the tree, if that makes sense.
Yes, it's a great foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you start to move as you grow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So what did you do besides music when you were a kid? What were you like in school?
So in school, I mostly was involved with like animals and like showing and agriculture and stuff like that. So me and my brother both, like he showed heifers and I showed pigs, and and that's how I actually I bought my first guitar with the pig money that I had saved up from taking pigs to market and selling them, and I used that money, and that's how I bought my first guitar.
How incredible, though, that your parents actually showed you, hey, this is something that is going to be worth money, and if you'll invest your time, it will pay off in these fantastic dividends.
Well, what was so beautiful about mom and dad is that they, especially with animals, it was always a caretaker mindset. It was always these animals need you to take care of them, so take care of them well, and they really taught me how to do that with a lot of different animals on the ranch. And so it's not only has that, it's amazing what you can learn from animals in that way,
Right.
and a lot that you can learn about people actually from that. And so I don't know, it just, because of how they taught that to me, I was able to apply that to how you're supposed to treat people and how you're supposed to, like make sure, that everybody's okay. You know what I mean?
Right, and to think about every individual's feelings
Yeah.
and their needs and how you can help.
Because everybody's different and everybody is going through something totally different each and every day, and you just never know what day might be that day for someone that you can help them.
There's gnats in my coffee, spiders in my bed. The roaches bum around, but they ain't paid me rent. The ants took my food, the dog gave me fleas, but none of them's as bad as the mosquito bites on my knees. Them bugs. They're inside my shoe, they're outside the wall. When I kill one, then come a million more. They're out in the open, they're right down the hall. They're underneath my skin within and up and down the walls. Them bugs. There's bugs in my kitchen, flies on my eyes. I'm not dead.
So when it's time to graduate high school, what's on B. Taylor's mind?
Nothing but music.
Were you playing out in high school?
Oh yeah, yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, Mom and I, we were weekend warriors, and in Texas, they have something called the Opry circuit, and that is where a bunch of theaters that were no longer movie theaters, they would go in and make little mini Grand Ole Opries. And so Mom and I, that's what we would do. We would go around, on the weekends, and sometimes it would be Monday morning and she's, driven all night and I'm like sleeping in the car, and we hit the schoolhouse just in time for the bell kind of thing. My parents were just really incredible at understanding that this is really what I want, like they're very incredible in understanding that. And so I was really fortunate in that way.
You absolutely were. Were there any experiences back in Texas that you wish that you had taken advantage of instead of being so focused on music?
I mean, I hate to say it, but no, not really. I guess, a lot of people talk about like the Austin scene, and I know that especially during that time period, there was a lot going on and a lot happening. But it just, I had been to Austin, a handful of times, and I guess, I don't know, I guess Nashville was just more of the direction that I wanted to.
Well, it makes sense from where you started, where you were first introduced to music.
Yeah,
I mean, the
absolutely.
sound that really made you fall in love with music was in Nashville.
Yeah.
It wasn't out in Austin.
No, it really wasn't, But that's like, I mean, before, the coolest thing that I really love is before I moved, I got a job at the post office in Texarkana. And I really needed the money in order to do that. And it was some of the best people I've ever worked with. Like, they were, you know, in the post office, there's a lot of seniority. There's a lot of, these people have been here longer, so they're going to get, you know, the best of the best, and you're the newcomer,
Yeah, you gotta
so
wait your
you're going to be
turn.
walking. You know what I mean? But it was, you know, it was a hard job, during that time. But the people that I was with, they were totally, my supervisor, he would literally, you know, you're supposed to take time off while you're working there, and I would tell him, I'm like, I don't want time off, only when I ask, you know. So if I have a gig, or that's when I really need it, you know. And him and I, John Fortenberry was his name, and he was an amazing man, but he really helped me a lot through those days where your feet hurt so bad you cry going home, and you know, and you just, the dream and the goal felt farther and farther away as you're delivering to houses, you know, every day. But he was such an encourager. And actually on my last day at the post office, the postmaster and my supervisor allowed me to sing for everybody before I left, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, you know, and it was a beautiful,
because they saw what you were working so hard for.
Yeah.
And now they get to see it all come together as they wish you well on this next journey.
Yeah, it was, they were very, very much incredible people. And, but that's, you know, I think, someone asked me the other day of like, you know, if you had an opportunity in life to have no pain whatsoever, would you do it? You know, like if you could just have like easy street and just absolutely no controversy or adversity or anything like that, would you do it? You know? And I was just like, man, no, I couldn't, because
how would you grow?
Exactly. That's where
you want to
growth
stay in the
comes
same
from.
place?
Yes.
Right.
That's what I want to hopefully do for someone else one day, you know? Like, I want, you know, 300 years from now, what if a 16-year-old, like, happens to find some sort of weird medium wherever music is in the moment?
Right.
Like, what if it changes their life?
And it should.
Yeah. But that's why I make music, is to do that, you know? It's not even really, yes, it's music for right now, but I want it to inspire way past my timeline here.
Honeysuckle mimosa tree, been that girl turned 17, breaks her daddy's heart in two, runs off with a boy she barely knew. Thistle, nettle, lily pad, had to move back home at last. Time to pick a wedding gown. I'm too young to settle down. Tree of heaven, meadow sweet. I don't wanna cook and clean. I've got drive, I've got dreams. There's a bigger world for me. Oh, woodland band, no sir, yes ma'am, that dog will hunt just fine. Sip lemonade, watch the parade, and have yourself a good time. Watermelon, watermelon, give me wine. Angry banker, give me a dime. Baby Janie, don't give me no slip. Blabber jabber, don't give me no lip. Crazy Janie, bake me a pie. Granny Annie, I wanna get high. Doctor, doctor, can you tell me the news? How you fix a heart that's been split in two? Ranky tank, you fix up my car. Shining tiny, fill up my jar. Taylor, Taylor, I need a suit. When a sailor, give me the loot. Coconut, coconut, coconut lime. Tick tock clock, I ain't got time. Now how many jump start does it take? 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, woodland bam, no sir, yes ma'am, that dog will hunt just fine. Sip lemonade, watch the parade, and have yourself a good time.
Tell me about that first experience making music in Nashville.
So at first, there's something that happens in a musical city, no matter where you go. But it's kind of one of those things of like, there's not a lot of people who will hire you because you don't have experience. But then at the same time, how are you supposed to get experience if they won't hire you for a gig? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like figuring that out. I was really grateful. I met some incredible people like right off the bat. One of them actually being Cody Brooks,
Yes.
who is with me today, and his father Ed Brooks, who is also just an incredible man and songwriter. And like both of them really inspired me to go, you know what, like you write a song that comes from here. Don't be writing nothing that has to do with whatever is on the radio or whatever is,
No.
that's somebody else. That's somebody else. Don't be doing that. You do you, and they really helped encourage me to find who that person was, because I don't really think I knew who I was when I moved,
So what is the one thing that you are most proud of at this phase of your career?
One thing I'm most proud of is that I am finally in a place in my life where I just don't really care about what other people think. And
Amen.
that's plagued me a lot of my life.
Has it?
Yeah.
Some
Just
insecurity
like,
there?
or more of like not wanting to maybe get in trouble or whatever in my mind, or whatever block there was
For being you.
Yeah, or being what's a word, being I guess ostracized or something, for being myself. And it took a long time for me to kind of get over that, and it was because of my own mind, of thinking what other people would think, and really being plagued by that. And I mean, it would be so much that, I would not dare, even go to my mailbox in a robe in fear that my neighbors might see me. You know what I mean?
Think?
Exactly, And now I'm just like, you know what? I really don't care.
Right.
And so that's like, that took a lot for me to get to that place. And I think right now that's something I wear a badge for.
Good.
Right now,
I love that. But I think it also comes from being young and trying to impress upon other people who you are and what you bring to the table. You're always on point.
That's just, I don't know, that's just something that I've really been working on, especially through quarantine. Quarantine really gave me a lot of time to like sit and be with myself and who I am. And I know that there's been quite a few other people who have also experienced that, and I want to help encourage that within each individual.
Is there a way that you like to help others? Like, is there something in your personality where you choose to do a service to people? How do you get close?
Listening. Listening. And just letting them express whatever they need to that day, or not giving any opinion of what I think about the situation until they're ready. But mainly just listening is a big one.
Do you take any of those life stories and create music from them?
I've got a song that is about a legitimate outlaw couple in Eastern Tennessee, and I guess what I mean by outlaw is, they just don't. They're very secluded, and they're very off the beaten path, and they just really don't. You don't mess with anything they got going on. You know what I mean? But they're really loving and caring people if you can get past that tough exterior, and they're a beautiful couple, but the song that I'll play today, The Way I Am, is about them. And that's the kind of people I like to hang around, people that have stories, and because that just makes life interesting. I don't like boring, and
I can't imagine.
I don't want to be around that, So,
Well, it doesn't motivate you to be anything bigger or better.
Yeah.
If we were all the same, then we would all completely be stagnant and boring.
That's absolutely
There is
it.
nothing stagnant and boring about you, B. Taylor. Where are we going from here? What's on your agenda?
There's a tour that's going to be in the works, and quite possibly maybe a couple albums that'll be coming out this year. And so just
There's a lot planned for you. A lot that you're holding back that you're not ready to let us in on just yet.
well, I can't
I know,
technically.
I know, but we're so excited. So that tease is perfect. But right now, we're just in awe of you, B. Taylor, and so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
They say Saturday he got pinched for mixing up roosters and Benjamin said he's no count, low down greyhound, but I don't think he is. I know he's growing fields and yielding green. I know he's selling state line slot machines, but damn if he don't love me the way I am. He might be running cars to Mexico. Yeah, he's got steaks and fireworks and tobacco. And I know there's a still on